I think every man at the sound of my voice should model their lives and should be inspired by President Zelensky's courage to stand up against tyranny. You know, all of us have watched around, all of us, wherever you are around the world, in the U.S., we all watch President Zelensky stand up to a dictator, President Putin from Russia. And we all have seen how he's standing up against communism, against a takeover, against tyranny. And we see how this man, I know he watching him stand, I don't know if I will be able to do that. Trial and tribulation and pressing moments will only tell. But here, as I was thinking about President Zelensky and the attributes that each and every one of us as men, particularly us as leaders, to fight against tyranny, to fight against the outside forces trying to take control of your life. And perhaps, obviously, you're not a president of a country, you're not a leader of a country, but I'm talking about things that are taking or wanting to take control of your thoughts, of your actions, of your behaviors, okay? And of your attitude. So your thoughts, your attitude, and your behaviors. And resisting that. Now, I'm not in no way, shape, or form comparing that versus a war that Ukraine is experiencing right now, but I kind of want to draw some valuable insights from that. Even though right now they're fighting for their lives, they're fighting for their freedom, and so many people, Ukrainians, have died, and even Russians have died, and so because war has consequences. But what I want to draw from this is that in the midst of adversity, this President Zelensky, who was a comedian, who was an actor, he actually played president in one of the actings that he did, in one of the shows that he did. And yet, I must say this: you have to be prepared before great trial comes. You have to be prepared before a great trial comes. When trial comes, when adversity comes, when challenge comes, when your team member leaves, or when your organization is going through a crisis, or when your family is going through a crisis, that is not the time to, or let me say it this way, that is not always the time to prepare. You have to prepare in case of, right? You get ready for winter because you know that winter is coming. You carry around an umbrella just in case it rains. Because you know that it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And so being prepared, preparation will keep you winning, will keep you above ground, will keep you ahead. And the lack of preparation will keep you defeated. It will keep you destroyed. So I was joking with someone, and we were talking about learning and growth and development, and I started thinking about that, and I started thinking about Zelensky, and right now he's in the middle of a war. Right now, I would say, and you would probably agree, it's not the time to read books. All right. Now it's not the time to read books on courage. Now it's not the time to read books on integrity. Now it's probably not the best time to read books on military strategy. Now is the time to implement everything that he's been feeding on. And when we saw President Zelensky say no to rides and say yes to bullets, right? I don't need a ride. I need bullets. I need weapons, is what he said when they offered him a ride out of the country of Ukraine. He stood up again and again and again. And he's still leading right now in the face of adversity, in the face of a giant. He is that David, that small person in the midst of a giant. And so now is probably not the most conducive or best time to read up on things. Hopefully, and I can almost guarantee that he's been preparing in other ways for this his whole life. And it might not been, for war, but perhaps he was reading on integrity, and he was reading on courage, and maybe in the small little things that creeped up on his life, he was able to stand up against. Maybe when laziness kicked in, he was able to fight it. Maybe when integrity issues wanted to compromise him against his family, maybe he fought against it. And so that's what I'm talking about. Preparation is important in order to win the actual war. And so I would say that right now in your life as men, particularly as men, now this applies to everyone, but particularly as men, now is the time to prepare. You might not be preparing for a physical war, hopefully, right? Hopefully your country's not being invaded, but you're preparing for the winters of life, for the dictators that try to rise up in your life to take over your finances, to take over your health, to take over your faith, to take over your emotional well-being, and all these different aspects of what we as men get bombarded with every single day, with greed, with lust, with pride, with attitudes that are a contamination in our organizations. And so it is so critical to be preparing before the actual time comes, so that you would be able to stand in the midst of adversity, stand in the midst of trials, stand in the midst of pressure. And so as we're praying, as the world is watching and praying and supporting Ukraine, I want you to reflect in your own life, how can you prepare yourself today in order to stand up against the dictators that will try to rise up in your own life? How will you prepare as you are leading your family? How you will prepare as you are navigating financial hardship? Do you have a financial plan for your family? And if you don't, and if you're the man of your house, you should. Okay, you should carry that responsibility. You should know what will happen in any given circumstance. Now, we can't predict the future, right? But we know that life happens, and so we need to prepare for the possibilities. Now, we can't prepare for every single thing, but you need to prepare for certain things that are in your or at your disposal to prepare from. And so that way you'll be able to stand when adversity comes against your way. Prepare for layoffs. Prepare. Have a savings for rainy days. Prepare to have that conversation with your child. Prepare to have that conversation with your employee. Prepare to hire another team member. Prepare to launch this new tasking or this new product, whatever it is. Prepare. Don't wait for things to happen in order for you to begin to do it, because chances are you won't be able to go back and prepare in the face of adversity. It's too hard to invest when you are 65, about to retire with nothing in your savings. It's kind of difficult to backtrack and let that compound interest compound. I mean, it's going to be hard to accumulate that much wealth in that short period of time. Now, prepare. So what can you do today? And this is why I believe the lead through method is so important. And I'm super excited about my book, because I really do believe that it's a movement that is going to help people create those breakthroughs and begin to lead their lives again. It's so important because the first two chapters really is about digging deep before you can build up. Figuring out where you are, figuring out what is your current situation as it is today. Okay? As it is today, what is that current situation? How are you? What is your current state? Not what you hope to be. We'll get there in later chapters. But what is your current state? Any architect will tell you before you can dig deep, before you can build high, you have to dig deep. Before you can build high, you have to dig deep. In other words, you have to have a firm, deep foundation before you can start building up. This is why today, more than ever, we're just seeing a devastation in people's emotions and moral failures and all these sorts of things, because we are not continually building firm foundations. We are building superficial foundations for social media to impress other people, to look good. But I'm trying to help you from that. I'm trying to tell you that if you want to build a sustainable structure, you have to go deep. You have to go deep. You have to answer those hard, tough questions. You have to say, okay, what will happen? How will I respond if I'm ever confronted with this situation? How will I respond? How will I lead my family if I ever am in this situation? Okay? And so, it is your responsibility as a man to navigate through these different circumstances. Now, if you're a single mom listening to this, hey, this applies to you. But I wanted to make this specifically for men because I'm just sometimes discouraged to see how men are leading their lives today. But when I see men like Zelensky, man, they inspire me to just want to be like that. They inspire me to want to continue to fight. They inspired me to continue wanting to build for my family, for my future, for those around me. He inspires me to continue to inspire others. Let me just tell you that because of President Zelensky, I am fully convinced that is why to this day Ukraine is still standing. Because the men who are fighting for that nation, they're watching their leader. And men, your family, your department, your team members are watching you. Your family members, they're watching you and how you're responding to life's adversities, life's challenges. And I'm not saying you have to be a hero. But what I'm saying is that you have to lead your life. That's what I'm saying. And so I hope that challenges you to not take the easy route, which is to run like most, or not most, but maybe a lot of men do. They run. They run from their problems. They run from their circumstance. They run when it gets too hard. They make excuses. I don't want that to be you. And so this is the unedited, unfiltered version of this podcast, and I recorded it in the car because I wanted to share this message that's been in my heart today. I don't want to wait to record. I don't want to wait to get to the microphone. I wanted to record now because I believe it is important for you and for me to rise up and be the man, the leader that this world needs us to be. Okay? And it starts today, one step at a time. Let's do this. Let's encourage each other. Let's sharpen each other as we pursue to be that man.